Hey guys, I'm going to try and make this quick and easy. Just a couple ideas that I want to recap and some questions that you guys had I want to answer for you. I am totally okay with you guys not understanding everything about this community. If you have a question, ask it. I'm super pumped that some of you are. Please don't Google the answers, that's going to ruin the story for you. So let's get started. We read chapters 1 through chapter 4. Some questions that came up were Gabriel, not really understanding what's going on there. Father's role in the community is a nurturer. All right, so he takes care of children from the time that they are born to the time of the one ceremony in December. Now, what that means and what you should infer in your head, wait a second, don't mothers raise their own children? Not here. In this community, the second that child is born, it is ripped away from its mother. The mother does not care for it. The mother does not see it. They want to separate that emotional connection. Okay, they don't want anybody having that desire to be with a mother or their actual father or an actual sibling, right? That does not exist here. Birth mothers are not highly regarded, which means that they're not really respected in this community. I thought it was kind of ironic that we read this chapter right around Mother's Day, because in our society, we view mothers as, a gift and we celebrate them. Very different here. It's a low job. They give birth for 3 years. They have 3 births, 1 each year, and then they are put to hard physical labor, so physical work, for the rest of their lives. What that also means is that all of these family units, they are assigned. You are assigned a spouse. A spouse is a husband or a wife. So the elders look at you. They're like, all right, this person's personality matches with this person's personality, and you are given a spouse. Then you can apply to get your first child and apply to get your second child. They don't want family connections here because family is not important. The only role of the parents in this community is to teach their children the rules. Once the children are grown, the parents go to the house of the childless, and there are no family reunions. There's no visiting grandma and grandpa. There's none of that here. Once the child is grown, no more parents are needed. The parents can move on to their next home. Gabriel fitting into that, he is not their sibling, okay? He is there temporarily because Gabriel is not growing as fast as he should. Father has taken a liking, to this child. He thinks he's really cute and he wants to try to help him. So what he does is he is temporarily bringing him home to try to help out and get him some more sleep at night because he does not want him being released from the community. Okay, so that's a big thing. He's only temporary. Let me see. Family units. The reason that they don't allow people in the community to choose their spouses is because there's a negative consequence, or there could be a negative consequence to that. What if you choose wrong? What if you and the person you choose to marry don't end up working out and you get a divorce? That creates a whole bunch of issues. So the elders in the community think we can decide best. That way no one gets hurt and it prevents bad matches. Birthdays. A couple of you guys were asking, are all the babies born in December? No. This ties back into when you guys were asking about 7s and 8s. Why are they called that? Because technically they're not 8 years old. They're grouped into that, cohort or group of kids, and they all age up at the same time. So I drew you guys a little picture. So here's a year. We start with January. We end in December. I have some baby 1, baby 2, baby 3, baby 4, baby 5. So baby 1 was born first. So when the next December rolls around, he's almost going to actually truly be a year old. But then we could have a baby that was born in the beginning of December, and he's, an infant, and he also becomes a 1. All right, so all of these kids, the 50 kids that are born in that year, age up at the same time. All right, they don't have birthdays here because that would be celebrating a difference. We don't want that. All right. There are no holidays. There are no gifts here because that would create jealousy and not everyone getting the same thing. So when babies are born in that year, they all age up. I've had some questions sometimes well, how's that fair? One baby's going to be, more developed than another. Eventually it evens out. So that's just something that I wanted to explain to you guys was the birthdays. The other weird thing about babies is if you noticed, they're numbered. For that first year of their life, they're just given a number. They're not given a name until the ceremony of one. So it's like baby one, like, so it's just weird. Again, they don't want to form that emotional bond. Everything is just supposed to be like black and white and nothing else. All right, so that's family units. Some other important notes. A lot of you guys are probably reading this chapter and being like, what is Jonas doing in the house of the old, and why are they bathing old people? Like, ew, I get that every year. My kids are like, what the heck? What I want you guys to understand is that nakedness in this community is frowned upon. It's against the rules for children or adults to look at each other naked. But it doesn't apply to new children or the old, because those two groups are kind of viewed similarly in a way. They're taken care of, they're fed, they're washed. So you're going to start to see similarities between the way babies are treated and the way the elderly are treated in this community. Again, for us, super weird, but for them, it's all they know. It's like a sign of like respect that they're like taking care of someone who has, contributed to their community. We learned a little bit about release through Roberto's story. There's this huge celebration. There's a look of joy, and they walk through that special door, and then they are released out of the community. All right. Let's see what else. The rule on nakedness. And I know that's like a weird thing to talk about, but it is part of the book. There are so many things about us humans that cause issues. So the fact that they're trying to prevent, people from liking each other, they want to prevent someone from having a physical and emotional attraction towards someone else. So obviously they can't just do that by just saying, stay clothed all the time. So in chapter 5, you're going to find out how they actually do control emotions in the community. So I'm excited for you guys to read about that. One of the things they talked about was the differences in the community, and something that was a little bit startling to me when I first read this book in the 8th grade was that they don't have mirrors in this community. And you're thinking like, why? What's the harm to look at yourself? Well, they don't want people to look at themselves and say like, oh, I'm so different than that person, or oh, I'm so different from that person. Because that could create competition, or people could bond over differences. Like, hey, like we both have like lighter hair, like we should be friends. Like that's something we have in common. They want people to almost just think everybody's the same, and that way it's just eliminating, judgment and individuality. They don't want people looking in a mirror and being like, I don't like my hair this way, I want to change it. Jonas and Gabe have a connection. They both have lighter shade eyes. All right. And I want you to notice the way he describes that. There's something that's missing there, and I don't want to give it away just yet. But the way he phrases lighter shade of eyes. When he says the apple changes, he talks about it being the same shade as his tunic. All right. So there are things in this community that they're doing to eliminate differences even further. And if you can pick up on that now, super great. If not, it'll come to you. Pretty much think that's it. Oh, differences in rule breaking. When you are, sorry, my son is really getting in there. When they're talking about differences and when people break rules, what tends to happen is like for us, if we break a rule, like, yeah, there's that sense of embarrassment. But in this community, they are called out and they're like mortified. They're embarrassed. And that is not something they ever want to feel. So yeah, that's pretty much it moving forward. In chapter 5, it's a little bit of an uncomfy chapter to read, but it shows how the community further controls its people and further basically, prevents them from having feelings like we do. Because as human beings, a lot of you guys mentioned this, there's no way for us to have a utopia because we're human beings and we mess up and we have emotions and our emotions are all different. So how can their government make everything so peaceful? How are people not getting mad? How are they not getting heartbroken? How do they not have crushes on each other? All right, so you're going to find that out in chapter 5. All right, good luck. If you have any questions, ask me. Bye, guys.